Welcome to Funeral Potatoes and Wool Mittens, a show for people who embrace the warm and cozy spirit of everyday living in the northern Midwest. From the blog Random Sweets, I'm your host, Stacy Mergenthal. And today we are embracing that spirit of everyday living because this first episode of Bake With Me is actually, I'm recording it in my kitchen. It also could be called I'm improvising during a busy week of college graduation prep. So our daughter Kalani graduates with her surgical technology degree tomorrow, and I really want to get a podcast episode out this week. And we just got back from North Dakota celebrating our nephew Russell Jr.'s confirmation, so I only have a few days in the kitchen. And Kalani requested a few items that I've already partially gotten made, and I thought, I should surprise her with Tangled caramel peanut butter corn chips because she really likes those. And so I'm in my kitchen. You might hear the air conditioner. You probably just heard the creak of our floor in our kitchen. And Jason, he's out with the, tree cutter, the chainsaw. And so you might hear that in the background, but it's as authentic as you get here. And I just wanted to walk through what's a very popular recipe on the blog Random Sweets. And that way, if you ever want to just follow along, you can turn this on in your kitchen and make the same thing. So what Kalani did request was walking tacos, and then Grandma Marie's the dill pickle pasta salad, which we did just a couple episodes ago with my mother-in-law, Marie Mergenthal. She also wanted puppy chow and raspberry white chocolate cheesecake. So I have the puppy chow done, the raspberry cheesecakes are done, the taco meat's in the freezer now, the pasta shells are soaking in the pickled juice. And so I have a little bit of time on my hands. Well, not really. You know how it goes. We just add more to our list, right? But I'm going to quick walk through these Tangled caramel peanut butter corn chips. And so what I've already done is I've poured the corn syrup into a 1 cup. I guess first I'll tell you the ingredients. Now remember, this is my first Bake With Me episode. And so just bear with me here. But the ingredients are 1 cup of light corn syrup, 1 cup of white sugar, 1 cup of creamy peanut butter. You could use crunchy, of course, but we use creamy. And then a 19-ounce bag of corn chips, the Fritos scoops or something similar. Now, I did purchase the party size corn chips. They're only about 15 ounces now, so I'm just going to go with the 15 ounces, even though my recipe calls for 19, but maybe there's a bag out there that really is 19 ounces. I just have a feeling it was shrinkflation. So these are a corn chip that have basically this caramely peanut butter mixture that you do on the stovetop. And then you pour it over the corn chips and you let it set for a while until it doesn't really harden, but it solidifies. And so it's sort of a soft, and then you have the salty crunch of the Fritos corn chip. So what we're going to do first, and this will be a little bit noisy and I have to kind of walk away from the microphone a little bit. So I just really hope this works, but should just be a real quick recipe here. What we need to do first is spread the entire bag of corn chips onto 2 cookie sheets or bar pans. I have a really big cookie sheet, so I think all the corn chips will fit on there. You just kind of scrunch the chips together so that the caramel doesn't get drizzled onto the pan, because then you're wasting it. You want as much of the caramel mixture to get into the corn chips, into the scoop. So I'm going to step away here for a second, open my bag of Fritos, spread it out onto the big cookie sheet. So if you're following along, you go do that too, and we'll be right back in a second. So not only do you spread them out, but you're also going to want to make sure that they're all in a single layer. That way, again, every single corn chip gets some of the caramel mixture into it. The corn chips are all spread onto the pan. So now you're just going to take a medium saucepan, turn your heat on to medium, and then into that little saucepan or medium saucepan, you're going to put in the corn syrup, which is 1 cup, and then 1 cup of white sugar. And a little tip for that corn syrup, if you want to spray your measuring cup with a little cooking spray, then that corn syrup comes out really easily. So I'm pouring in the corn syrup into the pan. And once you have the corn syrup in there, then you're going to want to add the 1 cup of sugar. I put my flour and my sugar and my cocoa, a lot of those big dry ingredients, I put into canisters. So that's why it's a little bit noisy. All right, there goes the 1 cup of sugar. And that goes into the saucepan with the corn syrup. Now you're just going to stir those together. And you're going to stir it and heat it until it starts to boil. And then once it starts to boil, you want to continue stirring it for 1 more minute while it's boiling. So we are so excited for Kalani tomorrow because she has worked really hard. She's wanted to work in the medical field, and especially in the surgery and operating room for so much of her life. She's always been drawn to the medical field. So you just keep stirring that. Now these walking tacos that I made, I made the hamburger and the taco meat and then put it into the freezer so that it'd be really easy tomorrow. I have it thawing now in the refrigerator, so it'll be really easy tomorrow to just pop it into the crock pot. And then we'll get the toppings like the shredded cheese and some salsa and things like that. I think I'm going to make a hummus as well. And I usually make just a garlic hummus. And that recipe's on randomsweets.com too. But I have this jar of Green Goddess seasoning blend from Trader Joe's. And I thought, I should make my garlic hummus with a little bit of that Green Goddess seasoning. I'm looking at the ingredients here, and it's minced onion, salt, garlic, black pepper, chives, dried green onion, spinach powder, lemon oil, dried parsley. And I already add a little bit of garlic and lemon juice in there, so I'm going to try to make that here in a little bit. Green Goddess garlic hummus. Now, while you're waiting for this to heat up and boil, you can get your peanut butter ready. I did already put my peanut butter, it's a 1 cup of peanut butter, into my measuring cup. That way I didn't have to do it. But this is kind of the time that you could do that. You could also use this time to spread your corn chips out. So you don't have to start with that. You could just start right with the corn syrup and the sugar, and then go ahead and spread your bag of corn chips out, measure out your peanut butter. Those are a few things that you could do while you're waiting for this mixture to come to a boil. Now the corn syrup and sugar is kind of starting to get runny, nice and runny, and that's good because it's heating up and the sugar is going to start to dissolve into that corn syrup. Keep stirring it. So I like all these things that Kalani chose because they can all be done ahead, even get better as time goes on. So like I said, with that dill pickle pasta salad, the pasta has to soak in the pickle juice overnight. And so we did that last night. Now today I'll make that salad. And then tomorrow evening is when we'll be eating it. And it will probably be at its optimal flavor 24 hours later. And once this mixture comes to a boil, you're actually going to remove it from the heat and then stir in the peanut butter. So if you're wondering how come I don't have the peanut butter in there yet, you do wait until this has come to a boil, and that's when you add the peanut butter. You could probably do, some people I think maybe melt some chocolate, like just melt some chocolate chips, and you could drizzle chocolate chips over this if you wanted chocolate. It's getting nice and runny now, so it's getting close to when it's going to boil. And I do kind of keep stirring it a little bit now that it's at this stage. I don't really want it to burn. I don't know if that's what would happen, but I do just kind of keep stirring it. You definitely don't want to walk away and throw in a load of laundry and come back and have it boiling over. And about here is maybe when you want to pause the podcast and then just wait until your sugar and corn syrup come to a boil, and then resume the podcast, and we'll keep moving forward. Okay, the mixture is just starting to boil, so I'm going to turn the timer to 1 minute. And then I'm going to just let that boil. You could stir it if you want to. You don't have to. I just kind of swirl my spatula in there a little bit. I might not even serve these at the party tomorrow because Kalani texted me yesterday and said, It's okay if you want to make some extra food because I'm going to have a party with about 15 friends afterward at my apartment. And I'm thinking these might go well with beer or cocktails or wine or whatever, but I think that the kids will like them, so I might just give her a container and go, here, this is for your party. It's boiling really nicely now. A few seconds left. Then I'm going to remove it from the heat, slide it over, and then I'm going to stir in 1 cup of creamy peanut butter. There we go. So turn off that heat and add in your peanut butter. And slide the pan off the heat. Alright, and now just sit there and stir that in until that mixture gets nice and creamy. So technically this really isn't caramel. I mean, there's no brown sugar or butter or anything in there, but it seems caramel-y. Okay, so the sugar and the corn syrup boiled. I added that creamy peanut butter, stirred it all in. Now it's this creamy mixture. I'm going to pour it over the top of the corn chips that are already spread out on the pan, trying to make sure that every corn chip gets some of this creamy goodness onto it. Nice and inside of those little cups and scoops. Scrape it all out. There's going to be a lot of the caramel on these because there's, like I said, it's a smaller bag than... It's a party-sized bag of Frito scoops, so they must have gotten smaller or something because it's only about 15.5 ounces the way it looks. Scrape every last bit. Don't let anything go to waste when I'm baking. Alright, so now the pan of corn chips is covered with this peanut butter caramely goodness. I'm going to let it sit here and cool, probably for the afternoon. And then, like I said, it doesn't get hard. It should stay soft. If it gets hard, it's because you boiled it longer than a minute, and then it starts to get to that candy stage and it gets hard. So that's why the 1 minute of boiling is all you really want. And then I'll put it in I'll kind of break them up a little bit, put them in a container with a lid, and then bring them to the party tomorrow. They last for a couple days, and then after that, those chips might start to get a little bit soggy, so just make sure that you are sharing them or getting those eaten up within a few days' time. Thank you for joining me for this first episode of Bake With Me to make Tangled Caramel Peanut Butter Corn Chips. And the recipe is on randomsweets.com. Just go to randomsweets.com, and in the search bar, you could just type in corn chips or Tangled, because even just the word Tangled is only used probably once on the website. But thanks for joining me. Until next time with a Bake With Me in my kitchen. Sweet wishes!